Hey, bit of scary music. How are you? My name's Quinlan. Welcome to Melbourne Musos. No Ginger Elvis tonight. We've got a few different things happening here. I'm going to do something a bit different. Oh, I thought maybe I would do a couple of things talking about a little bit of an indigenous music. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to take this out too. And that is background. That's just a pedal point and all that. Can you hear that? That is a Native American flute. Ugh. And what I'd like to do tonight is use that as a vehicle for how minor do you want to get? Now what goes on is I've got a couple of notes here. I've got some notes here about modes, how minor do you want to be? And I've got a little bit of stuff here about the indigenous music of North America. And one of the albums that I absolutely love, it's an old album now, but Tomahawk Anonymous by Mike Patton's group from the Ipecac label. Do you know what Ipecac does? Yeah. It makes you quite regular. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject a little bit, but that's Tomahawk Anonymous. Please check it out. Some of the rhythms on this is incredible. And it's all based on what I'm talking about tonight. Every few years I come back to people like Mike Patton, Trent Reznor, people like that, because of the style of music that they bring up, and they're so atmospheric with their music, 9 Inch Nails and all that sort of business, you know, and it just keeps on going. So what I wanted to do, this is why I've also got the mallets here. Explain how minor you want to be. All right. Now, what I've got here is the Dorian mode of the first of the minors. Now, let me go through everything. When you're dealing with modal music, you've got 7 main types. They are all built on the C major scale. So you've got or a major scale, I should say. And what happens is with C major, let's say, you've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then the octave. You've got 7 notes, then the octave. Now what happens is that when you play a mode, you are basing that scale, taking from the 2nd step, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, there you go. Now what happens is when you're dealing with relative minor scales, okay, notes that, or scales that share the same notes and all this sort of stuff, what happens is that the relative minor of C major, let's say, is the 6th step, which is A, right? And we call that in modal terms the Aeolian. I'll have a bit of Aeolian on my chips, thank you very much, or whatever. And what happens is that it has, you take the major scale and you have 3 flats, and I've just gone out. It's happening again. I've got to try and keep things moist tonight. It's good to be a little moist. See what happens. Oh, see what happens when you have a bit of moisture. There you go. Oh boy. And what happens is that after you've moistened a microphone, sorry. I might cut that out later. But what it is, maybe I won't. What would Ginger Elvis do? I don't know. Anyway, what goes on is that your relative minor is A. It's thrown me now. And you actually have, what goes on is that with an Aeolian mode, you have 3 flats. You flatten 3 notes from the major scale. But what I want to do is you've got to run. You've got the Ionian, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, the Aeolian, and the Locrian. and all that. And each one gives you a certain kind of mood. What I'm doing here is I'm using the Dorian mode. And what happens is that with the Dorian mode, you flatten the third and you flatten the seventh. And you get this kind of... You probably won't be able to pick it out so much because I don't want to really treat it like a full theory. And then when I put it with some background, there you go. So what happens with this is that you can create moods with that, just the two tones. Now, sometimes with the Dorian, I call it a light minor because it's got two flats, okay? I work this way. I'm sure many people know about the modes, but I'm approaching it from a slightly different way. So what happens is you've got your Dorian mode, and then you go to the natural minor. I'll be doing that now. Didn't I give it enough moisture? Hey, come on, pal. Let's have a bit of a crack here. Hey, oh, come on now. Hey. Hang on 1 second. Technical problem. Oh, cut that out. Oh, cut that out later. I might have to get a whole new thing. This headset mic, not only do you get the steak knives and all that, but it served me well. It's about 17 years old now. Yeah. All right, so there you go. So when we get into the minor, there we go. And what happens is that we have this fella here. What you have now, oh dear me. What you have now is the flattened third, flattened sixth, and flattened seventh is what you have. Wow. I'm having a good night tonight, aren't I? Hey, check 1, 2. 1, 2. So this is a little bit different now. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Something like that. You see, that's what goes on. And that's just your natural minor, you see, the Aeolian mode. But I'm going to come back down to my notes here and talk about what I'm actually doing with a Native American flute patch and using that to sort of influence what I'm sort of getting at here. Okay. Indigenous music of North America, which includes American Indian music or Native American music, is the music that is used, created, or performed by indigenous peoples of North America, including Native Americans in the United States and Aboriginal peoples in Canada, indigenous peoples of Mexico, and other North American countries. Especially traditional tribal music such as Pueblo music and Inuit music. In addition to the traditional music of the Native American groups, there now exists pan-Indianism and intertribal genres, as well as distinct Native American subgenres of popular music, including rock, blues, hip-hop, classical, film music, and reggae, as well as unique popular styles like chicken scratch. How's that? And lips, do your duty. New Mexico music. Okay. I'm going to just run forward a little bit here. And what happens is, what I'd like to talk about with all of this business, like our own indigenous people and our own indigenous music, it goes back millennia, 60,000, so many thousand years. It's wonderful stuff. As I said, Mike Patton has got did a whole CD influence. I'm going to put that up there now. Tomahawk Anonymous, that's a shameless plug. Please go and listen to that album. It's wonderful, incredible. What Mike Patton can do with his voice is, it's amazing. Not only is, I without doubt, I think without my own doubt, he's the best singer in rock. He just keeps on going. And every other genre as well. I've got one out there, definite room clearer. He just, he had a Tascam 4-track. He recorded the whole thing in hotel rooms on a Faith No More tour. And he was sitting there going, you know, sort of thing. Maybe Ginger Elvis has a bit of a listen to it. What do you reckon? Oh, shit. Anyway, it's incredible. I remember the dude at, of all places, who remembers Gaslight Records? Gaslight. Oh, I used to live there just about. And I had a little gift voucher for my birthday. And I went in and I wanted to get this album. And the dude said, "Are you sure you want to buy this?" And I've gone, "Yeah, it's Mike Patton, isn't it?" "Yeah, okay. Yeah. No returns on this one." Just like the Ginger Elvis outfit. "No returns on this costume." I'll take my chances, thanks, love. Anyway, there you go. So what happens is with... oh, shit. With the Native American flute, what happens is the actual stylistic kind of thing is the people would actually draw themselves to a minor pentatonic, which is the first, the flat third, the fourth, the fifth, and the flat seventh. It's quite a technical show for a drum show. But what I'll do now is I'll actually go to that. There it is there. Ooh. Hello. Oh. Actually in D. Okay, there you go. That's what happens there. I'll turn off this bloke. There you go. I'll turn off the drone a little bit. And what you've got there, I'll bring that back out. And what you've got now, the little drone happening there. And what I've got there, I'll keep that going. And what happens is that when I'm going through these different kinds of things, I can work out what kind of mode I want to, how minor I want to be. So what happens is that what we've got now, I've done the Dorian and I've done the Aeolian, but now I'll go to a little bit of a Spanish one here. And what I've got now is the Phrygian. That's the Spanish scale, funnily enough. that has four. That has four flats. Okay, you've got the flat 2, the flat 3, the flat 6, and the flat 7th. That's how you get your... Very Spanish sound when I'm doing it like that. Because this is a drum show, I better talk a little bit of drums. Right, left, left. That's right, left, left, right, right, left. One of the things about indigenous music is the idea of keeping a repetitive beat going. But as things get more full on, exciting, they'll raise the tempo. No metronomes in 1847. What that is there. I'm going to keep that drone going. I want to keep doing that. That's good. All right. So there you go. So that's the Phrygian mode there. Okay. That's what's happening. And then what you can do after that, you can go a bit scary. You can have 5 flats, and that's the Locrian mode. Just listen to Metallica's Blackened for a Locrian mode, and I'll go to that one now. And that is number 16 on my patch list. What happens here? So what I'm trying to do now almost like trying to create a soundtrack. things you can do when you're creating a soundtrack with this kind of thing is start drawing in the different sounds of your drums. Because when we're dealing with that, what happens is that's quite tribal, that kind of thing. That's what we're doing. But with the advent of Western civilization, drum has traditionally been a drum of war. So if you split yourself in two, create a fair bit of subtext. And that's what you can do. And if you can set it up the right way and all that. So what we've got here, I'll start to wrap the show up now. I'll try and be a little bit on time today. But what happens is I've tried to create a little bit of a soundtrack for you here. And what happens is by doing that, by keeping it to this sounds, the wonderful indigenous sounds of Native American, that kind of thing. And then where it goes from and to, and in the same kind of breath, sort of try and treat the modes in a slightly different way. A little bit like shallow end of the pool to the deep end of the pool with, if we have to think of it like how minor do you want to be, you can think of like Dorian is like the light minor, based on the second step. The natural minor, the Aeolian, is the standard minor. Just sing Stairway to Heaven to yourself and you'll get that. And then you've got almost like a Spanish minor, you've got the Phrygian. If you want to sound Spanish, use the Phrygian mode. That's based on the third step. And then if you want to go metal, scary, danger, Locrian, which is very much a diminished scale, you see. And that's what goes on with that. The Locrian mode, just so you know, it's a flat second, flat third, flat fifth, sixth, and seventh. So just about everything is flattened except the first, the fourth. There you go. There you go. Bit technical, hey? Sorry about that. You want Ginger Elvis back, don't you? Maybe. Anyway, maybe not. Let's go. We'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll keep this one short tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to do this tonight. I was thinking about it. Well, once upon a time, what I was doing with the show was I'd do the typical show for 31. And by the way, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for doing what you've done. None of us are sure what's going to happen in the new financial year. See how we go. We fought like red-headed Ginger Elvis bastards last year to keep it on air. I don't know of another time where we've needed it more, but thank you. But what I used to do was, with the time I had left, I would do these concoctions with all these little, with all the leftover tape. It was tape then. And it's time I got back into it a little bit. I've been doing other things. Might finish off with this. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm out of here now. My name's Quinlan. This is Melbourne Musos. I thought I'd go down the track of this wonderful kind of music that makes up the Indigenous American, Native American flute. I just get enamored with it. And I've got a few little apps here, and I've got a few different things, and I'll leave you with that. There you go. All right, my name's Quinlan. I hope you got something out of it. Hope it wasn't too cockamamie and all that. And I'm out of here. I'll see you all next week, yeah? All right, I'll leave this up maybe. Oh, there we are. Yeah. All right. Take care. I'll see you next week. Hey, I'm out of here. Oh. Good night.